Sure. I am Gabriela Cowperthwaite. I am the director of Blackfish. I don't come from animal activism. I'm a documentarian by trade, but I'm also a mother who took her kids to SeaWorld. I became interested in making this film when I heard about the death of Dawn Brancheau in Orlando SeaWorld 2010. I was horrified by that event. It was incredibly tragic, but I also was very confused. I didn't understand why, a top-level trainer would have been killed by a killer whale. I know that killer whales don't kill us in the wild. I knew enough pop knowledge about killer whales, I think, to know that this doesn't happen. I think that was sort of my portal of entry into telling the story.
Did you want to make a controversial film?
I did not set out to make a controversial film at all. I actually wanted very much for SeaWorld to be a voice in the film. In fact, I tried to get their interview for about 6 months, and we sort of went back and forth. And I thought at one point they said it was likely that I would potentially get an interview with them, and they eventually declined. I set out to make like this big philosophical film about our relationships with our animal counterparts, and then realized shortly thereafter, when I was coming to learn what I learned, that was not the film I was going to make. That it was a much more pressing film that needed to be made. Yeah, I did not want this film to feel like medicine. Activists have known everything. The scientific world have known these truths that are in Blackfish for 4 decades. But I did think that it was really important to not tell anybody what to feel in the film. And I could have shoehorned in all these facts, I think, that would have made people angry at SeaWorld or upset at the fate of the whales. And I chose to leave a lot of that out because I sort of said, if I just pull back the curtain, arm you with information, then and you walk away feeling something, then you own that feeling, right? It's authentic. It was, you came to that feeling in an authentic way. And I always believe that that's when we do our best work. I did tell it through the former trainers' perspective. I saw them as my apostles, I guess, the people delivering me the message from the dark side or whatever. And I just thought they were very credible. Been there, worked there, believed the hype, and had become disillusioned. And so they were my storytellers. They are my film, essentially. SeaWorld has responded to the film. They issued, I think, an email to 50 film critics out there, and had a lot of problems with I think 8 things they highlighted. The facts are indisputable. Anybody can go online and look up these facts at any given time. So, we stand by the integrity of the film. Everything that they brought up was very easy for us to debunk because they were sort of facts that they were bringing up. I understand why they would have a problem with it. I think that for 40 years they've been able to control the message, and to convince us that these animals are happy, the trainers are safe, all that stuff. So for 40 years they've controlled the message. So, I get 80 minutes, and I think it's actually okay to get 80 minutes to let the truth do some work. I was told by Lori Marino, our neuroscientist, that we are primates and that we learn by getting up close to things, and we feel the need to touch them in order for us to understand them. And I think that, that's a very human thing. I think that during the course of the 40 years the animals that killer whales have been in captivity, we've actually fallen in love with them. So, there probably was a place for a SeaWorld. But the fact is that given what we know about these animals and what we've learned about these animals over that time, we know, everybody knows, that there's no way we can ever give them what they need to thrive, let alone survive. We're taking these animals, wanting to be close to them, and we can't imagine that our love for them could actually be a really bad thing. That our desire to take and have things and put them in confinement so we can watch them and be entertained by them and master them. But again, I think that if we are to stop doing that and demand better for the animals, we're the only ones that are going to change places like SeaWorld. There's many ways people can get involved in a myriad of different things. So if anybody is touched or inspired or whatever by the movie, I think that there is a Free Lolita campaign. You can find out about her. There's a Keiko Foundation as well. The people behind the movie, The Real Keiko Story, they're doing amazing stuff. There's Morgan, freemorgan.org. And then there's the Animal Personhood, a movement conceived of by a man named Steve Wise, whereby animals that are sentient and intelligent and have shown that they grieve their young, or that they can want something and deliberately, actively go get that thing, that there should be some rights afforded to these animals. And, you know, it's kind of an amazing movement, because I think India took that movement on and basically gave personhood rights to dolphins. So, I mean, that's whatever the population of India is, you know, 1 billion people who will never see a whale or a dolphin in captivity. And then there's VOTO, which is Voice the Orcas, which is our former trainers have basically provided a landing pad of all this information. And that's incredibly valuable for people just looking to learn more. And then there's us. There's Blackfish. So we are hopefully going to be instrumental in sea pens and sea sanctuaries. We always believe that, you know, I actually always thought that SeaWorld would play could play a tremendous heroic role in kind of evolving us out of animals for entertainment and the circus into rehab and release, and also in sea pens and sea sanctuaries, whereby you cordon off a part of an ocean cove and you can kind of retire animals from sea parks into this. You know, they do it for tigers. There's sanctuaries for tigers, or, you know, old circus animals, retired circus animals, but there aren't any so far for killer whales. It could actually be a profit-driven endeavor for places like SeaWorld. I mean, I think people would come to go see a killer whale being a killer whale for the first time, and it's just very dignified and sort of sustainable alternative, I think, to the circus, you know, animals for entertainment.
What do you think a documentary should do?
What do I think a documentary should do? I think that the best documentaries I've seen tend to be able to, I think, incite a little bit of anger, and they should raise a lot of questions, and then ultimately inspire hope. And, you know, I think that if you can kind of hit any one of those, the hope is that you can do all three, but I think if you hit any one of those, I think in some ways you should probably be pretty psyched, you know. So anyway, I just hope that we achieve some of that with Blackfish.